Hello everybody! I am back for Flosstube number 44. My name is Megan and this is my channel about cross stitch, and it's been about 3 weeks, so again I have a lot to show you. I think I have 11 projects to show you that I've worked on since my last video. So it's gonna be fun, and I even have a new start. I have a new pattern that I have up in my Etsy shop. And what else? That's it. It's just going to be a lot of my whips. So now the first thing I want to say, I feel extra out of breath today. One, because I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy, and also I feel a little talked out because I just filmed a video for my other channel, which is called Nourishing Ideas. And I do want to mention it just because I'm very excited about this one. It was a video about how to help kids have a better body image. I'm a registered dietitian and certified mind-body eating coach. So yeah, I started this channel recently, and yeah, I just want to put it out there in case if you have kids, grandkids, or around kids often, it might be something you want to check out. So I'll link that in my description, even though it's not cross-stitch related, but if you're interested, go check it out. So let's just get right into my whips. I'll do the new start first. So I've had way more new starts already this year than I had planned on. I remember saying last year in my whip parade that, like, last year what I did was every new moon, so every month I had a new start on the new moon. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that this year because that would just be too many to add to my whips. But I've been adding a lot anyway. So the reason for this new start was my wheel made me do it. Because I do have focus pieces. I always have like way too many focus pieces, but they are actually focus pieces because I do my focus pieces every other day. Right now I have three focus pieces that I alternate every other day. So I end up touching them like every a few times a month anyway. I don't know. So on the other days in between, I do a random whip using a wheel that I spin to decide what to do. And I have a new start space on there, and it landed on that, so I had to do one. And this one, if you've seen my channel before and my kit parades, you know I have way too many kits. And I was like, I really need to start working on these. I have so many. So what I did was I created another wheel of all of my kits and spun that to decide what kit to start next, because I love them. I can't decide. So I did that, and it landed on Flower Fairies, which is a DMC kit. Oh, and it's actually, the series is called Flower Fairies because they have a few of them. This one is the Pink Fairies. And this is my first DMC kit. And I just love this image. It's so cute. And even the colors, they're very vintage. They're older images, I think. And they remind me of, we had like old books growing up that my mom had when she was growing up. And they had like images or cover pages that looked kind of like this. So it's kind of reminiscent, nostalgic. And I have a daughter, so, you know, maybe she'd want it one day, or one day, I don't know, soon. I don't know. But anyway, I started this one, and it's not big. I'll show you. It's on a 16 count Ada. But yeah, I started in the upper left corner, but the whole thing is this, and it has a pretty good border. So it says the whole thing is 8 by 10. So it's not that big, but it is still a lot of stitching because like the bottom half is full coverage. However, there are half stitches just like Dimensions uses, like in the background and yeah. So it should go a little faster. But there's a ton of backstitch. If you can see that, there is a lot. But I think it's gonna look really good. And I'm just going off the paper pattern. It's just one page, so it's very manageable, pretty easy to see. And I got a good start that day. Yeah, so flower fairies. All right. Next, I'll show you my focus pieces. And two of them are for baby. If you haven't seen my other videos, it's gonna be a boy, and I'm working on some projects for him, because for my daughter I did a birth sampler and a baby quilt, so I'm doing the same for him. So the sampler is, and it's a really bad picture because it's got shadows in it, but it's from Historical Sampler Company, called A is for Arc. And it came as a kit, the 32 count linen, and it's very vintage looking. Really like how it's coming out. And he's gonna be born in October, and it's very fall colors, so that's cool. So there I am, coming along nice. The only thing is that I did do, like, over here, I found, it turns out it was one stitch too far this way. So it's supposed to be one over, but that makes it 2 stitches off on this side. So right now this border is too close together when I do the letters, but I think what I'll do is I'll rip that out and just move it over 1 stitch or 2, whatever. And then just this side will just, the border will be a little bit wider than this one, but that's okay. So it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It'll just be not quite symmetrical at the ends, but most of it is going to be fine. So this all fits, so I'm fine with that. If you know my channel, there's always a bunch of mistakes. So yeah, I had someone in the comments say that, oh, I forget what culture it was, but they would purposely put in mistakes into their pieces so they would be unique, and I love that. Okay, so that one. Next is, I'll do my blanket that I'm doing for him, which is a stamped kit. Oh, okay, I don't know why, I still have an unfinished thread in there. But yeah, this one is, I'll show you what it'll look like first. Here it is. Bringing in the moon theme there. And it's by Tobin Baby, which is a Design Works company or branch. And this one's picking up. I was not liking it in the beginning just because of how I was stitching it, but now it's going faster and I'm liking it. So I'm working on the border first. So I have that whole top border done, and the back stitching just really made it pop and come to life. So without the back stitching, I was not impressed, but now I did this whole side down, which didn't actually take that long. It uses 3 strands though, so it goes through a lot of floss. I hope I have enough, but then let me just curl this up a little. Now I'm working on the bottom one, doing back stitching as I go, and the little French knots for the eyes. And apparently I didn't finish off that thread. Must have been really late or something at night. But I just have a few more bunnies to go, and then I'll be done the bunnies and just work my way up this border. So it shouldn't take too much longer. And then there's, you know, a ton of stitching in this moon part. Yeah, that's gonna be a little monotonous, but it'll look good when it's done. Okay. But this has been like really hot to work on because we don't have like air conditioning. I'm living in Norway and the houses are like built to be very insulated because it's often cold here. But when we have like warmer days, it's pretty hot inside. And what I don't understand about Norway, I'm from the US, and what I don't understand, and this may be common in Europe in general, I don't know, but there are no screens in the windows or doors. So if you open it, flies and bugs come in, which I am not used to and I hate. So I rarely like want to put the doors open. Sometimes I just have to. But I'm not used to that. I'm used to like everything having screens. So you can just open the window and it's fine. No bugs come in. So that is annoying. But at the same time, like the view is amazing here. So you don't really want screens blocking the view either. So it's great in winter, but in summer, not the best. There are some things you can buy to like put up on the windows for screens. And we had one, but it was for the window and it used all this tape that we're renting and I don't think it would come off that well and it looked really ugly. So I don't know. I guess I just have to get used to it. All right, moving on. My other focus piece, my last focus piece for now, is the Advent Animals from Brooks Books, which you can still get the free patterns for. The site was down for a little while. I don't know if it still is, but if it is, my last video, I put a link to how you can still access them. So you can go ahead and download them all. There's 25 for the Advent, and yeah, I'm moving right along. I'm in the middle of one now, and I think the last time I showed you, I had not finished the background on the horse, or not the background, the back stitching. So I have that in now. Hamilton horse. And if you can't read it, it just says ugliest sweater. I don't know, maybe I had this in the last time, I can't remember. But yeah, 17 is done and we're working on 18, which is a cute little bunny. He's so cute. He's gonna be in a stocking. Yeah, he's super cute. So this I'm actually gonna work on today. I know I won't finish it today, but in the next couple times that it comes up, I will finish that. And this is on the called for fabric, 28 count Babbling Brook Jobelin. And Stephanie, the On Point Stitcher, is doing this as well on her own hand-dyed fabric. And I think she might be further along now than me because I've slowed down a lot, but hers looks really great too. So I guess my focuses now are kind of like things for the kids because I wanted to get this done to have like as a fun Christmas advent calendar for them. And I remember having one growing up that was like a like cloth one that you can like, it had pockets and you can like stick on the people each day, and that was really fun. Like I like those way better than just the plastic kinds where you open and get like a cheap chocolate every day, which is very common here. So excited about that. Oh, I've already forgotten to put things back in their bags. Oy. Okay, now we'll move on to my random projects that I did. And one of them is the beautiful Home in the Mountains or Rivendell. That is my largest full coverage, and it was from Golden Kite. And there are different versions you can do. I did the standard, which is the biggest, and it has 70 blends. It is intense, but it looks so good. And right now I am at 6,694 stitches and 1.93%. Love the detail. And the colors, I just love the colors in this entire piece. They are awesome. So it's coming along. And yeah, I'm gonna soon, well, I'm not too much longer. I can hit this like top tower there. So that'll be fun. And the sunbeams like coming in, that effect. Oh. And this is on 25 count, 2/1 tent stitch. Oh, it's so good. And it was slow going at first, was a lot of confetti in that corner, but as I was like getting into the rhythm of it, and it's going faster just as I get used to it and go along. Okay. Next we did a relatively new start as well, which is actually a gift for my sister. Hopefully I'll get it done by Christmas when she's actually coming to visit. For the first time ever since I've been here. I've been here 4 years and she's never come. She's never met her niece, my daughter, who is gonna be over 3.5 by the time she meets her. You know, first was all COVID and all that for a while, and then she does a lot of traveling for like scuba diving and stuff, so she just hasn't been able to get here. She was in travel nursing in Curacao for a while, so she's pretty busy. But oh, okay. Now this one I am missing some colors for, so I have to wait. I could have finished it that same day, but I'm waiting on colors. I think I have actually one more color I can do that is in another project. But this one is called Peking Jesus, and it's very much her sense of humor, and I think it's so funny. So it's supposed to be like the frame will come like to the edge, so he's peeking out of the frame. I saw that. It's from Subversive Cross Stitch, and they have their own website. So it won't take long once I get those threads. But I think I have the color to fill in like this section, so yeah. It goes really quick, this one. 14 count white Aida. Okay. The next one you've seen a little bit recently lately, and this is my tarot stitch along from Witch's Garden Crafts, and it was from I think it was 2022, last year. But this is what it's gonna look like. I think it's the major arcana. I'm not super into tarot, but I think it's really cool, and the archetypes they all stand for. And each of these are full coverage inside. She actually had a version that was not full coverage, so you could have done that as well. But I liked to do the full coverage one, even though it's going to take ages. I'm still working on the border, which I'm planning on finishing before I get into the designs. And it's on fabric that was specially made by her for this project. There are a few to choose from, and this is a opalescent 14 count Aida called Daguerreotype. Love that fabric. So I just added in, yeah, more of the border. I forget where I was on my last video, whip braid, but I added in basically this part. I'm going down so it lines up with the other one, and then yeah, just finished up the border. Right now I only have the border entered into Pattern Keeper, so the percentage is only for the border, but it's 2,726 stitches, and I'm at 34.38% on the border. And then once I get that in, I'll start the fun parts, filling them in. But I do love the border. There was 2 to choose from, and I chose the ornate frame. Okay. And next is a Dimensions Gold Petite kit. A Kiss for Snowman. So, so cute. And again, it just reminded me of my daughter. And it's on an 18 count Aida. Oh, it looks so good. And here I am. I've got the little girl's face mostly. So sweet. I haven't done any back stitching yet, so I'm gonna do that at the end for this one. So yeah, love that one. Oh. I love how like the dimensions are coming out even before the back stitching. There are going to be a lot of French knots for the snow. That's going to take a while, but I don't mind French knots. Mine don't always come out evenly, but snowflakes are all different, so. Okay. Next, we have, where is it? Oh yeah, right here. Children on the Beach. I'm sorry, a very wrinkled picture, but it is the first full coverage I ever started. Painting by Mary Cassatt, charted by Cross Stitch Collectibles. And another nostalgic one that we had hanging on my wall when I was young, and that looked like me, and it looked like my daughter as well. Right here, yeah. This one is out of the Q-Snap because I've actually started working on it on a hoop now, which works well because the border is small. So I realized, hey, a hoop works now for this one. Just while I get the kind of the border part in because I don't have a big margin, but this one is at 24,536 stitches, 22.1%. It's on 18 count Aida. So I want to work my way down next, so I'll get a lot more of that girl. And also it just gives variety from stitching all of this, which I did start when I wasn't in the mood to do any, like to move. Before I realized I could use a hoop, I didn't want to like do anything in hand at that time, my mood. So I worked a little bit over here, but then I was like, no, I want to come down here. So now I'm working on the sand and I'm going to go down that way. I love when I can see a big chunk of it done. Okay. Next. This one came up just recently for 2 days in a row, and this was my focus piece at the start of the year, for the first half of the year, until, you know, the pregnancy, and I realized I want to do something, focus on things for him. So I had got a lot of progress on this the first part of the year, and then it came back out twice on my random wheel, so it's like a sign I need to keep going in this one. But this one is Design Works Kit Queen of Silk. And I really have come a long way from the beginning of the year. I was only at like the tree. I haven't even finished the tree down here when I started. So we're in August now, so 7 months. I've come a long way. Okay, this is a big one. Here she is. Yay. So how I'm working on this is I'm doing 10 by 10 squares going down is like the typewriter method, but finishing out the thread where it goes. So if you don't know, the typewriter method is like, if you're wherever area you're working on, you just go to the next symbol in that square to decide like what to do next. It takes away a lot of the decision making. It goes faster because you're just like, okay, now I'm doing this symbol, and then I just follow that wherever it goes. Or if it's like too far away to count, then I just end the thread. But I've been working down in this dress area for a long time because I was filling out all of that. And I finally made it to the end of that section of like the 10 by 10 columns down. So I could finally go back up to the top. But oh, look at it. I put in some back stitching as I go, like all those flowers there, and then some of the lines in her dress. So I'll add that kind of in as I can. I love the colors. Oh, it's so pretty. These are actually birds, but the back stitching will show that more. And now I'm back up to the top. So yesterday I did like this part of the tree and more of her crown and hair. And I had run out of the gold filament that came with it early on, and they sent me some more, but now I'm noticing the new one is so much more sparkly. You can see it way more, so it's a little bit different. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Yeah, you can. So you can really see like this, but you really can't see this. It's the same thing. So they're a different level of sparkle, but these are actually going to be backstitched, so it'll help. And you can't see the sparkle, but it is very sparkly in real life, which is so pretty. But also it will kind of make sense because there's actually going to be a sun here. So it'll kind of be like, oh, the sun's more reflecting on the front part than the back part. So it kind of worked out, but soon I'll be getting to her face. She'll have a face, or at least part of one. Oh, exciting. So let's see, if I look at the picture, I've done the bulk of her dress, kind of. I think I'm up to around there. So I'll have like the front, but it's not as big, and you know, so it's actually not that much that I have left to go. I just have to do like this section. Oh my gosh. So she's not going to take too much longer if I just focus on her, but honestly, she's not going to be really a focus for a while until I get like the baby stuff done. But as she comes up, and it says on a 14 count Ada, very big. Yeah, that'll be a very big accomplishment. And she has beads too, so actually I still have to do the beads, which I've never done beading before. So who knows how long that'll take. Okay. Now, that was kind of, well, I don't know if this one's not really a whip anymore, but I wanted to give you an update on Ragnarok, my long dog sampler that I asked your advice for last video, and you guys were awesome. You gave me such good advice because I was deciding whether I should restart it or not, because what happened was I had all the fabric ready to go, this giant gorgeous piece of fabric from Extra Design, 32 count, but then as I was like going to start it, one, it was like really, really big, and I was like, is it that big? And then I was like putting into the cross stitch calculator the size that I needed it to be, and I made the dumbest mistake where the one that I use, you can put in whether you're using a stitch over 1 or over 2, and I was gonna do it, you know, 32 count over 2 over 2, and I forgot to change it because the default is 1. And I forgot to change that So it calculated it for 1/1, or yeah, over 1 stitch, and on 32 count hand dyed. So I cut it to that tiny size because that shrinks it by like half. And as I was cutting in the middle, I'm like, this looks way too small. Checked it. Yeah, it is way too small. So the only way I could have done it was if I did 1/1 on a 32 count hand dyed. And I started it and it was way too tiny. Like you couldn't see like the space is almost in between. And it was like very bulky, even doing over 1. Here's what it looks like. So it is big. The stitch count is 309 by 361. So it is big. Yeah. So I was asking, like, what do you think? Should I keep going with it? Should I restart it? But then I'd have to get, a whole new fabric, and it was expensive to get to Norway, and that big was expensive. But I love the fabric. But with your help, I decided to restart it. So I frogged. It is not fun frogging 1/1 on 32 count hand dyed. FYI, it took me a while. And I was like worried I was going to cut the fabric, but it was right here, my start. And you can see a little tiny bit of like the red because I'm using like a red thread, but actually in camera you can't really see it. So it's not bad actually. Yeah, it's very not noticeable. Oh no, it's right here, this one. So I can notice it a little bit, but not much. So I'm going to use this for, now I have 2 pieces I can use for other projects. So that's the good news. I can still use them and they're going to be great. They're big enough for other things. So, and I have some ideas of what I might put on this. I just don't know when. But I'm not going to be able to start this again for a while because I'm not really spending much money this year. And I'll get some birthday money in November. So maybe I can order the fabric then, but I'm going to have a new baby by then. So who knows what's going to happen with my stitching. But eventually I will restart it. And I think I will actually get a smaller count fabric because it was really big on 32 count. So I'm thinking either 36 count or 40. So we'll see. All right. Next. Okay, yeah, so that's all the projects I had to show you today. And now I want to show you the new pattern that I have up in my shop now. And my shop is Stitching Moon Designs on Etsy. So I'll have the link below. And actually, it was pointed out that my link that I've been posting in my description hadn't been working. Like it would just go to like a not found, which I have no idea why. So I went back and fixed that. So hopefully you should the link should actually take you to my shop. But if it doesn't for like any reason, please let me know so I can change that. So this one is by the same artist I have as some of the other ones in my shop, who is a local artist here in my town. He's Italian, and yeah, he is letting me just chart his artwork, which is amazing. And this is the new one. It's different from the other styles he does, which was a little more dark, but I love the colors in this one. It's beautiful. And if you can see the birds and the trees up there. And I named it Daydream. He doesn't name his pieces, so he said I could just name it what I want. So I named it Daydream. And the artist is Giuseppe Micconi. And he has an Instagram and a Facebook page. He also has a couple more that I want to chart eventually. They're also a little more colorful. Now this one is big because I usually try to make my designs a little smaller than say like a regular heaven and earth design. And some of them they really work well for. And I try to do fewer colors, but this one just didn't do it justice if I had it smaller. The detail wasn't there. It was a little pixelated. So I had to make this one bigger with more colors. But it's worth it. Like the mock-up looks amazing. It's 450 by 559 stitches. So it is big and it has 136 colors. So it is more your heaven and earth type style or size, but it looks amazing. So, and what I do, I try to go through, I go through every single color, which is 136 colors, it's a lot, and just try and take out like the ninja stitches that don't need to be there. In some of the more detailed parts they do, but yeah, just try and reduce some of the confetti where you can. It's still, some of it is not confetti heavy, but some of it is. Just depends on the part you're stitching. But yeah, I love that one. So that one's up in my shop. Okay. So yeah, now that's all for my stitching. Just a little life update, you know, not much if you want to stick around for that, but yeah, coming along in my pregnancy now. There's less than 3 months until he's here, and he's a heavy one, much heavier than my daughter was. It just feels like heavier, and I actually had to get like a belly band, which I'd never had with my daughter. So this one, I don't know if it's just my body is different, or he's bigger, but yeah, this one's harder than my daughter's pregnancy. But he's very active, kicking all the time, very hard. Sometimes it hurts, but he's a strong one. And yeah, so I got a question about like, oh, have we thought of any names? And it is so hard this time to come up with a name that both my husband and I agree on, and that you can pronounce the same in English and in Norwegian. Like, there's so many names in English that I love for boys, but they just sound really weird here in Norway. And then there's a lot of traditional Norwegian names that I'm just not used to, and I'm like, eh. So there's only like one really that we agree on so far, but we still aren't sure. I don't know. It's very tough to come up with something we both like, and we want it to sound the same in, or almost the same at least, in English and Norwegian. Like, my daughter's name is Sienna, and that's the same in both. It's a little different when you have, she spells it with 2 N's, which is a little bit of a different sound here in Norway, but you know, not too much. So that works. But yeah, might be one of those ones where he's born and we just decide what he like looks like or seems like, where that's actually pretty common in Norway, where we had one of our neighbors had a baby around the same time my daughter, and it took them 3 months to come up with a name. Like, she didn't have a name for 3 months, which is a lot more common here. I think you have a limit on like 6 months to decide a name or something like that. But yeah, I'm used to, in the US, usually people have a name just like right away or before the baby's born. So that was interesting to me. I'm like, what do you call her? Baby? But I don't know. So, and actually it's common to have a name day here where you kind of have a little party for the baby, almost like a, it could be like a baptism, or, but people call it, they'll have a name day even if they aren't baptizing usually. That's probably where it came from, because they haven't decided on a name until like months later. But hopefully we'll have a name soon. So otherwise, I've been going through all of my daughter's old clothes, sorting through which ones can we keep for the boy, which ones are like the dresses and girly things that we can donate and get rid of. And that is a project. She has so much, or had so much, because we had donations from people, of course, grandparents who love to spoil her. We haven't really bought that many clothes for her, but we have so many. Like, right now, my bedroom is just full of bags of clothes that we can sell or donate. And I went through all the sizes to like sort them by like size or age. Yeah, that took an entire day, and now I just need to do it little by little, because that day was way too much. I was like in pain by the end of the day. Like, my hip has been bothering me, so that was not smart. So now I'm just kind of like going through it piece by piece, taking pictures of the different sizes, and I don't know. So actually, I was gonna say, if any of you are in Norway and want some baby clothes for a girl, definitely hit me up because I've got plenty and we can figure something out. Whether it's from like the newborn stage all the way to like size 104, which is like age 3-ish. So if you want any of those clothes, please message me so I can get them to you. Yeah, so that is all for now, and I will see you maybe in another, I don't know if it'll be 2 weeks, but another 3 maybe. We'll see. All right, bye. Wait, don't go. There's more. I forgot. Oh my god, I have been forgetting to show you this project the last 3 videos. I didn't even show it in my whip parade because I don't know why. It was sitting there in the pile with the other whips and I just didn't show it. And this is my tablecloth, my heirloom piece that I am working on. It was in my husband's family. His great-grandmother started it when she was 93, more than 20 years ago, and now I am trying to finish it, but it is gigantic, and I just, probably because it's not like something I enjoy stitching on, but it's going to be great at the end. But yeah, I've worked on this a few times since I last showed it. Not a lot, but some progress. Anything is progress, right? This is the end of the tablecloth. It's with like a yarn. I can't show you what it'll look like because it's only the actual pattern that's in there. There's no like reference image that I got, but yeah, so this one, part of the reason I'm not liking working on it is because I did make a mistake over here. The spacing here is not what it's supposed to be, so I'm gonna have to fudge that somehow. And I also don't have enough like thread to rip it out at all. I'm missing a lot of the threads actually for this, and I have to do this same image all over on the other side of the tablecloth. So I'm gonna worry about that when I get to it, but there's already some that I'm missing. Like up in here, there's a gold that I don't have, and then her hand, I don't have the colors to do that. I think this one might be the wrong one, so if I get those, I'll have to rip that out. But what I worked on was, yeah, I started her hand over here, which I don't even know will line up, and I did like her sleeves and like more in this part, and that's really about it. Because this has come up a couple times in my random wheel, but I'm like, I can't spend a whole day on this. I just can't. So I just do a couple threads or a certain amount of time and then pick something else. So at least I'm getting something in on it. But yeah, I've been forgetting to show this, and it's gigantic, and she had done the entire border, and these are like on the corners. So I don't have to do that, but yeah, just wanted to add that in. Okay, bye.